Not like Europe or
apparently we're
Canada.
also going to be losing women's rights.
Apparently, you can't do IVF. You can't
Get an abortion.
get an abortion, which most women, I will tell you as a physician, most women do not get an abortion because they're just having sex and they're being reckless. It's because maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they're going to actually get sick or die from it. Maybe the baby is born with something that's going to be sick. It's going to sick. Maybe their spouse is abusive, so they're afraid that they're going to get abused and their child's going to get abused. Or maybe they were raped, or maybe they were pawned off. So I think this is a very important topic because women's rights should not be something that's in politics. Men in the office should not be deciding what women's bodies do.
Hey everybody, you're listening to God Spice with Greg and Kirti.
You're watching Got Spice, and I'm Kirti.
And I am the Gregory.
Oh, God, and you're special. And we are so
very
excited to
special.
have my middle sister. We have Dr. Pooja Naik.
Dr. Pooja Naik.
And we also have Dr. Padam Bhatia.
Whoa.
Yes.
They call him Dr. Love. Dr. Love.
True.
They call
After
him
they took away my
Dr.
license, they
Love.
called me Dr. Love.
Yes, Dr. Love. Yes.
So we are
Yes.
excited to finally actually find a way to get
Yes.
them on the show
Yes.
because they live in Miami. And
Yes.
we sort of at one moment contemplated bringing our equipment all the way down to Miami, and then we were like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna it didn't work in the stars of currently what we were doing, and so we didn't want to bring our gear down there. We just waited till they came up to Staten Island to say, look, we're gonna make a special trip to be on a God Spice episode. And we're like, okay, we can do that. We can make that
Well,
work.
so we're going to answer a really important series of questions today, but what we want to kick it off with my beloved sister and brother-in-law.
Yeah, they should introduce themselves
Yes.
like they're doctors.
So, I mean, why don't you first,
Yeah.
Pooch, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's your specialty? Because you both are different type of brain doctors.
Yeah, and are you guys just throwing doctor terms around like the way Dr. Jill Biden throws it around?
Yeah, or
and
like
others?
PhDs do. Like,
yeah,
no.
so are you guys real doctors? Like, are you guys MDs?
So
or
yes,
what's going on here?
I am a real doctor. I did go to medical school, and I went to residency for neurology, which is my specialty, and then I specialized further into epilepsy, which is
So you're hot and you're like smart.
Hot and smart. That's like an
I
interesting
mean,
combination.
Padam, you got like
It's
a
like
double
The
winner.
answer. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So
But Padam, as a dude, like we want them hot, and sometimes we want them smart, but then we want like at times that smartness to be turned off. That way, they're not always like
Oh, not with me. That doesn't
rebuttaling
turn off.
our scenarios.
yeah.
You know?
Pooch
You
has
mean
a hard
rebutting?
time turning off
Rebuttaling?
at all.
Yeah, rebuttaling.
I'm still teaching him English, guys.
You know?
It's like we're working.
I tried
Yes,
rebuttaling once and it hurt too much. So
Refuting, rebuttaling.
it's a very
Yeah.
painful
Well,
rebuttal.
All right.
So- oh, by the
wait,
way-
hold on. Shh.
Oh wait,
I'm shushing you.
No, wait. I have an
I'm
idea.
shushing
Why are
you.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have an
Oh my
epileptic
God,
attack right
what-
now.
what
Thank God
coffee?
there's a doctor here.
What espresso shot did you just take?
The
Okay.
four that you bought me.
He said, "Thank God there's a doctor here, not 2 doctors." So
Oh.
it's probably in reference to me.
Listen, if someone's dying, I'm calling the doctor.
Well, I was talking about one that could like solve my epilepsy problems that are happening from this back and forth conversation right now.
I think you're giving me an epileptic
no, it's kind
shock
of like
right
it's
now.
kind of like I feel like I'm being exposed to bright light and I'm gonna like seizure at any moment.
Okay.
You're gonna CJ at any moment. Or
CJ.
We're gonna cut that one out. We're gonna cut that one out.
No, we can keep that. We can keep that in. Who
That's all
cares?
good. Yes.
Well, okay. So Padam, I'd
Commercial
like you to
Jackson.
introduce yourself.
Yes.
What's your specialty and what do you do?
Yes.
So I identify as Pooja's husband.
Oh, he's
That's
not a
it.
doctor.
That's it.
He's a doctor by proxy.
Doctor
a
by
doctor
proxy.
of love.
Yes.
Yes, doctor. of
I've been in. So I grew up in Virginia. Didn't know what I wanted to be. Wound up going into psychiatry for various reasons, which I'm sure we'll get into, and then moved down to Miami with my lovely wife and our now lovely daughter. She wasn't lovely before. And
But she's become lovely.
well, I said now lovely, and I call it myself. So she's
Wait.
grown into being lovely. So
Which she became lovely, the child,
That's true, the child
or the wife?
I'll leave
or
it
neither.
up to viewers' discretion, that kind of thing.
Viewer
yeah.
discretion.
I think Pooja may be sata in the near future.
Yadra bedra, yadra
This
bedra.
is. Yeah. But Ethan.
I love
But Ethan.
you. And now we're a couple brain docs in Miami.
Brain docs.
Yeah.
Well, one of us are.
Well, you both are technically brain docs, right?
You're different parts of the
You're
brain,
different
right?
parts of the brain.
So
She's the
let's-
bad part. I'm the good part.
Well, let's explain that. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people understand the difference between what does a neurologist do versus a psychiatrist do. And I think it would be great for you to also, Padam, when you talk about it, talk a little bit about the difference between psychologist, psychotherapist, and
Yeah.
a psychiatrist.
And a therapist
Because I
and-
think those words are sometimes misused.
They are, because it's interesting. Kirti and I, we were just toying with opening up a practice here in the city, becoming psychiatrists, and like that's cool. Just spend a little money on, on a certification, and bam, you got it. It was like $5. We bought it online, and now we've just decided to open up a
He's like
practice.
a notary.
Yeah,
That's how I got mine. Yeah,
yeah,
$5.
and we can give people TMJ.
That's $5 of my life.
Yeah, and we're allowed to give people TMJ now, and which is great, which is what you guys do, I believe, at your firm.
That's right.
Yeah.
We give people jaw pain. It's true. Actually, technically, we'll get into it. It's
TMS.
a little bit.
TMS.
No, but TMS can cause.
Wait, too much
jaw pain.
information?
Not TMJ, but
Wait,
just
is it
so we're sure.
TMI? Lisa, TMS?
Yeah, is it TMS? TMI? Too
Yeah,
much information?
I feel like this whole
Too much
conversation
stimuli?
might be TMI. So
Oh.
Is that why you're a doctor
Okay.
of love? TMS.
So okay, just
Too
going
much
going back
stimuli.
to-
I'm not gonna lie.
I've
but
told you
that's
saying in the
why
last
we
episode,
are
you're
the
done.
fly
You're done.
guy.
I'm gonna come into your camera and I'm gonna stop you.
I'm so glad we don't watch a show, by the way. So
Padam's learning by the moment on how to manage the Nike ladies.
it's been a long.
That's why I'm
learning
opening.
process.
Okay.
That's why I'm
Pooch.
opening up a location in New York
Pooch.
City.
I have a
Tell
second
tell
degree in
tell
that.
us about what a neurologist does. Like, what does a day in the life of a neurologist look like?
I think the day of a neurologist is different depending on what you specialize in. And for me specifically, I specialize in epilepsy. And I am blessed in the sense that I can work from home. So a day in the life of a neurologist or epileptologist, that's my life, is I basically wake up and I cover hospitals in New York and I read the EEGs, which is the electroencephalogram, which is the brain waves that tells us what the brain is doing, and I decide whether or not they have seizures or they have something else going on.
I mean, so your decision and what you do, you could say someone's life is in your hands.
Yes, very much so, because it depends on whether they're in the intensive care unit,
Yeah.
or if they're in an epilepsy monitoring unit and whatnot. But a lot of the times, I would say neurology has to know so much about regular medicine to tell most physicians and or other medical practitioners that it's not neurology, it's not the brain. So you kind of have to be a jack of all trades in that way.
So like,
Or
so
diagnostic.
what? So if I'm interpreting this right, is even though you're specialized, you still need to understand the larger body, all the like science and physiology behind the functioning of the body in order to inform what the brain may be doing at that given time.
So
Well, yeah. So basically, just because something appears neurological, like, okay, a patient's not waking up or a patient's not moving appropriately, it doesn't necessarily mean it's coming from the nerves.
So Greg falling
the
asleep every
muscles,
5
the
minutes
neurological
when
network
he's
of
not
the
on
brain.
camera.
That's
Greg
just
falling asleep
the
every
Gregory.
5 minutes when he's
It could
not on
potentially
camera.
be narcolepsy. I don't specialize in that, but yeah, if you fall asleep all the time for no apparent reason
been-
and it's not about a sleep shift disorder, it could totally be narcolepsy.
I've been doing that ever since I was a kid. I've had issues. Staying
He was like
awake
apparently
certain-
5 and he just slept on his desk at
Yeah,
school.
I used to fall asleep.
I
in
feel like he needs a sleep
school.
study.
I probably need a sleep study. But what's interesting about studying is that so whenever we hang out with Pooja and Padam, it's like I wake up in the morning and she's reading these scans. I'm like, you and I, our jobs are not too dissimilar because she's reading brain waves
Really?
and I'm reading sonic waves. I'm like, look, we have the same gig. I'm looking at waves on a screen. You're looking at waves on a screen, and we're both interpreting those waves and then making decisions based on those waves. So basically, I'm a doctor as well.
I think your decisions reading waves just creates
I can't
music.
understand the similarity.
Yeah, but which affects people's mental state at that moment in time. I could actually write a
What's a
song
sonic
in B
wave?
minor,
All right,
and I could
he's-
change the
ah,
mental
right.
capacity of or emotion of an individual at that moment in time.
Wait.
Hello, have we not done neuroscience, biometric based studies in our craft of marketing, but I also apply that to music. So therefore,
But we're not saving lives.
Oh, sorry, guys. What
Thank you.
happened there? I
Thank
I
you.
had to clear my throat and
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you. Finally, we have a guest on the show that calls him out for his FOS.
FOS.
Okay, I'm still stuck on
FOS.
Sonic Wave because I think that sounds really cool.
on
But, you know.
circuits.
FOS.
A factually on
Full
symmetry.
of shit.
Factually
Full of shit.
on
Of shit.
its subtlety.
Full of shit. FOS.
We're gonna drink the subtlety.
He's so full of shit.
Full of shit. Full of shit.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow, that's
That just happened.
that's incredible.
that got away from us
See,
quickly.
look at how I've already changed the mindset of the entire scenario of this. So therefore, I'm the equivalent to a brain doctor.
Agreed.
Moving
Let's
on.
move
But can you tell us the differences between psychiatrist, psychologist, and psychotherapist?
And
Yeah.
also the difference between Padam, Padam, and Piatam.
You
So-
have many aliases.
Yeah,
Yes.
the second answer is easy. Those are all AKAs. At night, I go around with a cape and underwear.
Oh.
And I am P. Adam. Pooja knows about. I don't save anybody. I don't save anybody. I just look at Pooja throughout the night.
What kind of underwear? Is it a thong?
Okay, that's that. Yep.
Yeah, let's
You
refocus.
don't like the cape and the
I think
underwear.
we should refocus
Okay.
on the
All
stuff
right.
But I want to know, what type of underwear? Is it a thong? Is it a boxer brief?
Yeah, like, is it
what
like,
it?
what's his name? That guy,
Like Speedos.
Ali,
Oh,
God.
Ali G.
like Ali G style? Is that how you run around on
But
South
you know this
Beach?
one, right?
Barat?
Don't make
Borat.
Borat. Yeah.
Borat.
I only wish I could pull that off. One day, Pooja, for you and me.
day.
So I think
Yeah.
you should
There's apparently
like,
growth.
Yeah. Okay,
there-
so
there-
the
there's
real-
apparently growth hormones that can help with that in this day and age.
Thank you, Greg. I'll take that under advisement, and this got very personal.
Well, we have doctors on, so
So psychiatrist, I'll do broadly psychiatrist and psychologist. So psychiatrist, by definition, is a physician, right? So we go to med school, and then go to training, just like a residency. So, Pooja went to neurology, then training in epilepsy, same thing. So we go to psychiatry, and then we can go into offshoots of psychiatry.
Okay.
The training that we receive is a bit hybrid now. So back in the day, it used to just be Freudian kind of, scriptures, as it were. And a lot
did you say Freudian, like Sigmund Freud?
Yeah,
Freudian?
Sigmund Freud, exactly. Your mama. And what? And so, we would primarily be taught in therapies, let's say in the 1920s onwards. And at some point, we started stumbling onto literally treatments like lithium, chlorpromazine, etc., electroconvulsive therapy, and so they started incorporating that as medicinal treatments. So we can now prescribe. So we get training in both,
And then we
depending on the
end up
program.
with like girls like in the ring.
That's exactly the outcomes we go for.
Yes.
Yes.
Or like
it's-
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah, so we can talk about that at some point. Unfortunately, it gave a very bad rap to ECT, which is an incredible treatment, but we will, I'm sure, get to
Oh,
that.
yeah. Like the mis kind of representation of
So
some of
ECT
these
and
treatments, right?
acronyms.
And
So
media.
doctors, as well as people
Electroconvulsive
in the
therapy.
financial world, speak a lot in acronyms. But for our audience, ECT stands for?
Electroconvulsive therapy, or some people know it better as electroshock therapy.
This is when they put the things and they shock your brain.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, literally,
scary.
yeah.
But you're saying that actually is a treatment.
It
that's been
is
proven to work?
safe and effective and amazing. There are some potentially safer treatments out there right now, but certainly electroshock therapy does not deserve the reputation that it gets.
What's better, that or a lobotomy?
For you, a lobotomy, but for others, ECT, I
Yeah,
think.
Greg should use a lobotomy.
I love.
I've recommended Greg to get a lobotomy for a while.
I love a lot of body, so I'm all with
I'm
it.
just going to come into your camera.
Come into the camera. Well, no, they go in through the eye socket because it's the least invasive
or
way,
like,
right?
Is that what they do?
Yeah, it's through the eye socket, right?
Traditionally, it was actually through the nose.
Through the nose. And then, but
Yeah,
then
that's
they
what I
might
thought,
start
right?
Going,
The nose and then.
your dad was telling me through the eye socket then was like a minimally invasive way to get there.
Wow,
That
this
just
is
sounds horrible.
yeah, for some people.
You know, I don't think I want to be ever
you.
shot in the eye.
I think
or
for
in the
Greg
eye
it'd be great,
in
but,
the
you
eye
know.
socket nor in the
Pooj.
nostril.
For Pooj, it's been wonderful. So
It's worked miracles on you.
yes,
I
yes.
have not gotten any surgery.
That's how we have a happy marriage now. So
Oh. Oh wait, that's the secret to couples liking each other.
Happy wife,
One
happy
of
life.
one of
exactly.
them gets a lobotomy.
The secret to couples liking each other is actually doing therapy.
Yes.
Much like Kristen Bell mentioned, you don't go to therapy when everything's bad. You go to therapy when everything's also
Yeah.
good. Anything that you had when you were growing up, or any situation you had that
Yeah,
was
because
traumatic,
I think
I-
I think
we kinda
self
push it
therapy.
under.
Yeah, therapy for ourselves is exceptionally important. Like I get it for my daughter. Like it's so important, and she's like this real straight A shooter. She's very like a perfectionist, and I think it's important for therapy to exist in her life. Like I unfortunately don't get therapy anymore because
womp womp.
it's expensive.
It is
And
pricey.
so that's maybe
And
something-
insurance
Not at
doesn't
Elevate
necessarily cover it.
Psychiatry in Miami, Florida.
Yes. Exactly, which we talk about. So, by the way, I just want to let our audience know
We take insurance.
Yes, whenever you hear us talk about Pooja and Padam and Elevate Psychiatry and everything, these
This is
are
them.
this is
This is
them.
them.
This is them. These are the famous duo.
do that.
But talking, I want to bring up Kristen Bell. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like I listen to everything she has to say because I want to respect someone who says there's no reason to ever bathe your children until they stink.
Wait, Kristen Bell said that?
Yeah, remember her and her
So
husband,
I
Dak
don't
Shepard?
necessarily agree with it,
are all
but
about,
I think
like-
dermatologists would agree that bathing on a daily basis takes away natural oils from the skin and actually predisposes you to certain skin conditions. I'm a neurologist.
Is that why you're so
I don't-
gross?
I'm a neurologist, so it doesn't. I cannot give that advice. 'cause
sorry.
I do not have the
Smelly-
expertise.
How,
for
smelly
how
that.
can you do
privates
Arthi
is
every
not-
day
I know
if
Brad
you don't
Pitt
shower?
does it. Brad Pitt, this beautiful man, even at nearly 60 or 60, whatever he is, he doesn't take a shower every day, and he
Ew.
still looks hot and amazing. But
has sweaty
I
balls.
personally have to shower every day,
I will say,
regardless of what.
No.
No,
People,
regardless of what the recommendations are, unless you have a true skin condition. I mean, you live in Miami; it's humid. You shower every day.
I will
No,
say, you
I'm
can
sorry.
take a homeless
You
person.
shower every day because you don't want your cooch smelling bad.
Yes.
Agreed.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But then also, isn't there a health?
Nobody likes
isn't there
sweaty
a health
balls.
benefit to washing like certain parts of the body that may build up certain sort of
No,
grime?
so if you think about this, like evolutionarily, we're not supposed to stumble upon water or food very frequently. So when you do, you kind of binge, right? So that's kind of the premise behind like intermittent fasting.
Yeah, but
You
that
binge on
evolutionary.
food.
But talking about evolution, like that's because things evolve over time. You're talking about like 3,000, 10,000 years ago when like there was no access. But now that we're just like moths have changed color and like everything, we've all evolved.
Yeah.
Our skin and body, in theory, should have evolved to being cleansed on a daily
Well, so
basis.
I think the point would be that if you are bathing daily and getting rid of those, natural oils that are so substantial to our survival, is that
In the
you are
coochie-cooch?
devolved.
But those natural oils in the
Devolved.
coochie are
Devolved,
gross.
yes, I would agree with
So
that.
there are plenty of people who are physicians that don't necessarily bathe their kids more than once or twice a week. I'm not judging you, but like I am. That
We
shit
are.
stank.
Yeah,
That's
we are.
disgusting.
That's like a homeless person.
Unless your child actually or adult, whoever it is, has a dermatological condition, I would be like, absolutely, hell's no.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, like for instance,
Because I do not want our teenage daughter suddenly picking up
I have a
this
I have a-
news briefing.
I'm going to pose a question to our audience right now. And yes, there's only probably a certain few of you that live in the New York City area, but you may live in another area where there are subway systems. It could be the tube, tunnel, whatever it happens to be. It could be the T. Have you ever stepped into a train car where a homeless person is on that train car and your eyes just start to tear and you can't even breathe because the stench is so bad? We live in a society where we can actually shower. We might as well shower or take a bath or cleanse ourselves.
Well, I would say, like, from Miami, there's a lot of homeless in Miami as well. And I'm like, you could jump in the river. Like, I don't know. I would
go
jump
in
in
the
the
ocean.
river.
Have you seen the river?
No,
I've been in the
I mean,
river.
personally, I am not in that position. But if I were, I would probably find a way to still, like, but the problem is it depends on your mental status. If you have a psychiatric illness,
Well,
or if
most
you're on
homeless
drugs,
people have mental
like,
health.
So
Exactly,
what if they
which is
can't
very
swim?
sad.
Should they still jump in?
But
What are they gonna
if
dry
you don't
themselves?
have any of those excuses, you should just like, I don't know, like jump into the
Actually,
fountain.
salt water
Okay,
is
shit.
good. Salt
Gwyneth
water,
Paltrow.
actually.
Like,
A little
Salt-
fountain. A little fountain.
shower themselves
Top-
in the winter in the water.
Well, a lot
Why
of
don't you just jump in a river?
Well, you know
homeless person?
why? Because a lot of them are drug addicts too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like mental health, I'm all sensitive about, and
Who
but
have-
even drug addicts are actually
people who have
an
substance
extension
dependence
of
do not
mental
necessarily
health.
like the.
But I'm just saying, like in Miami, the weather is great year round. Like, and you can't jump into the
wants to
Hudson
jump into a
River.
river?
That's
But
true.
you could go to a beach in Miami. And
Yes.
actually,
Just
right
get
there.
a saltwater sentence.
I will say,
Homelessness,
Okay.
location dependent. There, if there is a will, there is a
Okay,
way.
Gwyneth Paltrow, go to Virginia Key right now
Yep.
and just bathe there for like
What-
30
what I
minutes straight.
love-
Let's see how you handle it.
talking saltwater, what I love is when you're on a boat and you go for a dip in the water and then you come out of the water and you spray yourself down with like just fresh water. It's like an exfoliating feeling. And then afterwards you can even like just take a shower. You feel so great coming out of a salty like bath, we'll call it. It just, you do not like it?
Oh, I hate the ocean.
Oh, you hate the ocean?
knows what's
then
in
why
there?
did you move closer to the ocean?
It was forced.
Actually,
That's part of our story.
I do want
I
to
want
talk
to look
about
at water. I
that.
don't want to be in the water.
So that's an important thing you just stated. The both of you, Pooch, particularly in New York with me, we're actually in our childhood house right now together. That's why we're able to do this. And Padam, you're from the Mid-Atlantic. What was that like from a standpoint of you built your relationship and your family obligations and stuff together in the New York area, right? You did your residency, fellowship, I guess, up here. Shifting your family from the New York area down to Miami, where you had zero family. No, you didn't know anybody, right? Like you went and you talk about like what was that like? What like did you guys have a T chart? How did you figure out like this is the right thing for us to do as a couple? And what are those variables that were important to you? That like, can I take you down?
You're the
kinda
inner
curious
T
about
charts.
this.
Do you guys know what a T chart is?
I think this was
Conversation
really
about
interesting
this.
because it was actually Dad's 65th birthday when we were in South Beach.
Oh, I remember. Yes,
And
the one we did at the Ritz.
came down, and we were married at the time, but we were still living and training in New York. And we had just done Deuces.
Oh, yeah.
And we're coming back.
Wait,
with
you were on
this-
the Deuce?
No,
Club
it's a
Deuce.
famous
Oh.
bar.
No,
Club
no, no.
Miami.
They went to the bathroom.
No, so Club Deuces. We went there. Buy
If
one,
I
get
do
one
say
free
so
shots.
myself. If I
And
do
then
say
we
so
went
myself.
to La Cemetery, and then we were walking
that's
back
good.
on Ocean Drive. We actually don't go to Ocean Drive anymore at all.
Nobody should go to
But at that moment, we looked around. We're like, "This is so beautiful. Do people actually live here, or do people just vacation here?"
a genuine question.
And then Padam actually started looking up real estate and was like, "Oh, it's not
This
that
is the thing,
bad,
we
actually."
always, everywhere we go, we're looking.
We're like,
what's a real
compared
estate
to New
here,
York
blah, blah,
City
blah,
at
what's all
that
this look
time,
like?
that long
Kind
ago,
of a
we're like,
fantasy.
wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And then we started looking into jobs for physicians, and it looked like there was a need. And we were just like, you know what? We didn't pick the job. We picked the city. We're just like, we want to live in Miami. And we just told recruiters, like, find us a job there.
Sure.
I mean, nobody actually did find us a job. We pretty much found our own jobs. But,
Yeah, I don't even remember this one. I think I had a.
well, for me, it was a colleague who was in my residency
just a
before who was down there. And I'm so grateful for that. And he actually was looking for someone else. And I joined him. So I went straight from fellowship right into a partnership and working as my own boss, which was scary. It was something new. They don't teach you that in medical school. And to be honest, you're learning on the fly and you're clueless.
You like the business of being a
Yeah.
doctor, right?
But it was very different than being in New York because New York is saturated. It's saturated with medical professionals, medical school. And they literally offer you so little right outside of residency. They're like, work 60 hours and do this many RVUs. And I was just like, wait, I didn't work this hard, go to medical school, go
Forever.
to residency to continue being the student. And I will always be a student because medicine, you always have to learn. But I don't want to be slaving myself away.
Yeah, to the system.
And I think Miami granted us that opportunity. We didn't have that opportunity in New York. And if we were still in New York, I would be making the same I wouldn't be making the same. I'd probably making a little bit more because I'd have to work full time. I would
You'd
probably be
making as
working
much in New York full time as you are now
part-time
Yeah.
in a hospital with office hours, working
In
60
person.
hours.
Yeah.
Like
As
insane
opposed to
hours.
now where
Yeah.
I actually decide like which days are appropriate for
Well,
me.
okay, so the
I wake up, get Opaline ready for school,
No,
and
the
then
irony is that you're reading for.
and I'm reading for
hospitals.
New York
yeah.
hospitals.
That's
So I'm
interesting.
living-
So technically, you could have done it here
in
but you know,
Miami,
taxes in general. would have taken a
but
lot of your
I'm-
salary.
So you moved to Miami to work for New York.
Well, you
that
can
happened
take the
over
girl
time.
out of New
Yeah.
York. You can't take the New York out of a girl. And so, like, I will always have my ties
We
and love
went
for New
to
York.
the GI specialist to get it removed. She couldn't. No.
Oh, that's interesting.
Scope it.
I've heard, I've heard there's new
But-
treatments overseas about
So
that.
so that's really interesting that like actually the opportunity to be physicians in a city that was going to reward you for being physicians in a way was a lure.
Yep.
But then how about like you left me? Like you left me and you were my party buddy.
Yeah, Kirti cries
So,
on a daily basis.
like-
oh my God,
On a daily basis. That's not
That does sound like how she cries. I've seen
that's
it.
exactly an imitation of me
it.
crying.
It's- the problem is, it's not just like how you feel about Kirti, but it's also like, just shut up. Like,
Yeah. She's like, I lost my best friend. My best friend left me.
So that was a really hard move for me, being that I was born and raised in New York, and I'm
Wait,
so close
pause.
to my
Pause
parents,
one
and I'm
second.
so close to my siblings. But like I had to make that move, and that was the best that would be for me at the time, because I really needed to be in a situation where I was comfortable and growing a family with my husband, and also felt that it was better for me as a physician, as a future mom, and as a wife. And there's a lot of things that I disagree with Florida, but palm trees don't make you sad.
No, palm trees are awesome looking. I love looking at palm trees and all the foliage around your environment. So Padam, I just have a question for you. Your wife was just talking about being in the doghouse. Is this part of the therapy of when men have issues with their women or significant other? It doesn't matter if it's a woman, a man, or whatever. Their
your partner.
partner or preferences. Are you saying that they should put them into a doghouse?
yeah, it's part of the prenup, I think, right? For most
Wait, you guys
Indian
have a
men.
Wait, you have a prenup?
No,
Yeah.
we don't have a prenup.
It's the only thing in the prenup. She has to be in the doghouse for the whole time.
It's interesting.
How come you're not in your doghouse right now?
So we
I don't understand.
We don't have a prenup, and that's because I probably should have earned more, because like by how we were.
Should have is a big thing.
Well, somebody had to take care of the house, the family.
Wait.
and
So
Papa.
actually, this brings us to an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
So you left. You abandoned me.
Yes,
I know.
She
This is all
abandoned
about
you.
me.
I can confirm
She-
that.
she
And
Yes.
now
abandoned
Kirti has to
me.
go to therapy 5 times a day.
My only friend.
You went to
like,
therapy
was
more than you
Boosh,
went to your
and
job.
I
Yep.
spent more
Yes.
time partying
Yep.
with her than any other friends. But so she
truth
abandons
is coming
me
out.
and goes to Miami and leaves family up here. You do too. You are an only child though.
Yeah, but
So
you're
it's
from
a
the
little bit
South,
different.
so, like,
I'm
that's-
more independent, so you know.
So aren't you technically
part of
closer
that.
to your family in Florida than you are up here?
We have family in Florida?
No, you.
No, your family's from
You
the South,
being-
right?
You being now in Florida, aren't you actually like quote proximally
Closer in proximity to your family.
So,
Yeah.
so that was actually my argument, that we were going to make this move because, frankly, we had the luxury to, right? Not everybody has the luxury of 2 people
Yeah,
graduating
like
to
I
high
can't just
earners
find like a
same
CMO
time.
or head of brand gig anywhere.
Yeah, but
Like, I
everybody
just
needs a
can't go
physician.
anywhere.
Doesn't matter where they are. So we're like, screw it. Let's go to Miami. This is going to be great. My personal rationale at the time was that the world is small. The internet is huge. I can FaceTime my parents whenever we want to. You can too.
Right.
And the flights between New York and Miami are not that bad. So I was like, okay, this justifies to me moving and taking a chance on something. It was a little bit more in us wanting to be more independent in our relationship. But what
So
did you think?
I have to interject for a moment.
Yeah,
just for
sure.
our audience, we need to clarify this. I need some medical interpretation of this. You said the world is small, but the internet is huge. So are you saying that you are treating people outside of the world and throughout the universe on other planets? Because to me, they're in theory equivalent to the same size by the populace that can live on the Earth in a physical capacity, as well as those that could actually be on the internet. At the
Are we
same
having
time.
an existential conversation suddenly?
Yes.
Greg, did you take like LSD before the
I don't
break
know,
or something?
I took whatever you gave me before. Was that special K?
That was that. Yeah, it was a psychiatry special.
psychiatry special.
It was an Elevate Psychiatry
Elevate.
special.
I
Oh,
feel.
that's what elevate means.
I see. Wait, guys, look at this. Look at this. Wait, look at this. Wait.
Oh, he's elevating, levitating, or
I'm-
elevating?
He might be lactating too.
That's pretty
That's
incredible.
true. He's been levitating.
I just. That's pretty incredible. I just like. elevated myself. All because I was able to use my mind because I went to Elevate Psychiatry.
And
I
that's
just
what you get
levitated.
with
It's like Dua
insurance-based
Lipa.
healthcare.
I was levitating.
In
If you
South
wanna ride
Miami.
I can take you for a ride. Is
Is this what we're supposed to sing with him, or we just look at him?
Is that Dua Lipa?
That's Dua
Yeah.
Lipa. Yeah.
Oh, she doesn't sing.
Tell us how you
what does
really
she do? Does she
feel.
mime? Then what does she do? Does she mime?
Off topic, but I think there are people who are entertainers and people that actually have talent. And I think there's a talent in being an entertainer, but there is a objective talent that maybe you're not entertaining, maybe you're not the best dancer, but you have a voice, you have chords, you can sing, you can play an instrument.
Well, you
And
know,
so I'm not a pop. I'm not
You're
a pop.
not a Dua Lipa fan.
I'm not anti Dua Lipa. I'm not pro Dua Lipa. I just don't like pop music.
Oh.
Current
know if
pop
I-
music.
Well, I was going to say,
Going to get
we
invited to the
did
Met
go to
Gala.
a show together that was pretty fantastic, and that could be considered pop music. That Coldplay show, one of your favorite bands.
So wait,
pop
I think
music?
Chris Martin is a genius. I think that he's been
Is
amazing.
that because he used to rule the world?
He still rules the world for me. But I do think he's actually a genius, a musical genius who was able to touch a broad audience. It doesn't mean that if you touch a
touches
broad
many,
audience,
many in the audience.
you could be extremely talented and not
There's
touch a
sometimes
broad
physical
audience.
or mental touches.
I feel like you have to have like I don't know
He's very touchy-feely.
the music bones to know what's
Oh.
what would be famous versus what is pure talent. And if you
back
could
to
be
bones.
pure talent and then famous, it's
This
very
is
different.
another episode.
Yeah, this is crazy. We're talking about talent that is inherent to the individual versus a learned skill.
Yes.
Is really the way that Pooja is describing this, because you're basically saying that Dua Lipa has been able to excel in her career because she's been able to practice and rehearse
manufactured.
enough that she can pass the muster because she has a learned skill versus an inherent skill, which in theory should be her bliss.
Like Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury.
And get good.
Freddie Mercury is naturally talented, but also like one could say like, so Madonna, right? She technically was a dancer first. People didn't respect her as a vocalist. She's still not the best vocalist.
What about that J-Lo?
But she's a great marketer.
I think
Fly Girl.
J-Lo and Madonna are in the same
J-Lo.
category where they're
entertainers.
But
entertainers.
except Madonna's superior.
She's also an actor.
Madonna is superior. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Madonna.
not even comparable. There are levels of entertainers. I'm not anti-entertainer.
Listen,
I'm just more of a
we
like,
do love a good
a Broadway
Britney doing her
person's-
dance.
Look, it basically goes Mariah at the
Yes.
top and everybody else.
So
Mariah.
No, Mariah's an
Mariah.
amazing vocalist.
Mariah's
when
a great
nobody
vocalist.
used to say
when
anything
she
about
used to
Mariah.
sing.
Yeah, when she used to sing before when she went to Whispery
She's singing
Voice.
again. She went
is.
into some weird psychotic like pause, and she's back
Yes,
again.
actually, Padam,
Listen,
from a psychiatrist perspective, apparently
Yeah.
with Mariah, she lost her voice. I forget the exact reason why she may have lost it, but I did hear. But I did hear that it was part of it was psychological, that she had a hard time getting it back. I heard it was Usher that really kind of coached her back to give her confidence again.
Usher,
but I did hear that it was a lot of her own personal struggles with mental health, which inhibited her ability to have confidence in her singing capability.
that's interesting.
From your professional opinion, like how would you coach someone like that
Yeah.
back to confidence so they can get their mojo back and perform at the level that they should be performing?
So I think if she had come to me as a patient, I would probably give her a lot of medication, like a ton. And then we'll just see what happens. That's how psychiatry works, I think.
What
these
type of
days.
meds?
It doesn't matter. I mean, we could do the good ones, the bad ones. It doesn't-
Really? Come on.
okay. So that's not how psychiatry works, guys.
I'm going to put a disclaimer.
Yes, yes.
Many thoughts from Padam are bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's P.
yeah.
Adam. That's
Oh
not
my
Padam.
God, no.
That's the P. Adam.
Wait, Pooj. He's not the only FOS. FOS.
There we go.
I'm not
yeah,
a-
yeah.
What? Because I'm factually
The words and thoughts of Bhatia
ostensibly
do not actually represent
smart.
the words and thoughts of Elevate Psychiatry.
Yeah, dude, you want to be an FOS.
LLC.
Factually,
A Florida,
ostensibly
LLC.
smart. Boom. Bang.
What was that?
That's right. People.
I have no idea what just happened. It
It's
sounded
not-
good.
He said a lot of gibberish.
It's not gibberish. It's perfectly accurate
It's gibberish.
explanation.
Gibberish, yes.
Gibberish.
That's the proper
For the Gregory?
pronunciation. So
Gibberish.
What is going on
gibberish.
here?
Oh no.
Okay,
we're
so
going- okay.
so I actually had a patient who had so much vocal talent, 5 octaves, right? Allegedly from her. I'm not going to question her, obviously, but she.
You really had someone with 5 octaves?
Apparently, she said it. Listen, she was just my patient. I wasn't treating her octaves, obviously. Yeah. So this woman again.
Wait, you said she sings 5 octaves?
She said.
Is
right?
she American or is she from another culture that has different scales in octaves?
She was a Martian. So
Oh.
you know,
Oh,
yeah.
those
so
aliens-
so
the aliens
let's
Yeah,
kind of take that into account.
Interesting. I hear they're great.
So a human from Earth. And again, I can't question this. I don't know enough about this. It wasn't the point why I was treating her. However, the point was her stagnation within her career. And so I could totally see that happening to Mariah. Mariah Carey apparently seems to have a lot of trauma in her life. I don't know what ones. I mean, Tommy Mottola clearly was
Yeah,
one.
I mean, she was like in
something
an
like that.
abusive relationship.
Was
and
that abusive at Tommy?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't
And
realize
she was
that.
a child. She
I think
was so
that's why she
young.
left, right? Yeah.
You know, she used to rent. Her and Tommy Mottola used to rent my ex-girlfriend's house, her parents' house up in South Salem. Yeah, after they moved out,
Wow.
they kept the house, and then Tommy Mottola and Mariah Carey moved in.
Oh, is this the redhead?
It was the redhead. Yeah, yeah, the redhead.
Hi, redhead.
I feel like we stumbled
come up
upon some things here.
Sometimes still.
Yes, in horse country. So
It's a message to the redhead.
to redhead.
Okay, he's trying to tell us about
No,
it.
it's all good. It's all
So
good.
back to your story.
So, okay, so in general, and this is not specific to Mariah Carey.
Wait, is that like 8675309?
We need to block that out. Get rid of like the middle 3
Mariah.
numbers or something.
Jenny.
Yeah, I can see if someone has something psychiatric happen, could be trauma, could be something else, that they could substantially underperform or lose their voice. I would actually almost expect them to lose their voice outright. So I don't know what's been going on. Like we saw that Mariah Carey special for New Year's like a couple years ago. It was just like, oh my God, what's going on?
No,
This
she
poor lady,
couldn't
that kind of
sing.
thing.
She couldn't sing in the whole thing. Poor thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible too.
Maybe.
But I think my point is that
Drinking is
yes,
not good for them.
it can happen to anybody. To lose it in the thing that has sustained you, right? Something Mariah Carey is. If you just said Mariah Carey, what is the first thing you think of? You think of her voice. You think of all the songs, the things you grew up with, all that, right? It's always musical. To lose that probably says something substantial about what she went through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's her identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her. Even to her, potentially, maybe she doesn't want that identity. Maybe that's part of the crisis or whatever.
Sure.
But she and everyone in the world, Mariah Carey equals vocalist.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say, what I've gone through as a musician and as a drummer, there's shows that I've played in the past where for some reason I go into a show, even a couple practices beforehand, and I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling confident in my ability. For some reason, something just triggers me. And then there's been shows that I've played and I'm like, oh my God, I just, right in the middle of a song, I'll simplify what I was going to do because my body just won't move in the way that it's done 1,000+ times before. And it's my brain, obviously it's my mental capacity impeding my ability at that moment in time. And I've walked away from shows, like personally, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I played like that. But for some reason, my body didn't function the way it was supposed to function that I'd rehearsed 1,000 times prior. So I've gone through sort of experiences
I think,
like that
mental
before.
state has so much to do with getting on camera or writing music or performing or delivering a speech. And I think it translates to anything we do. It doesn't have to only be artists, right? And music. Like they could, even in my very unexciting but like important world of financial services, like how we communicate and sell an idea internally too, and interpreting the complexity of a product and being able to sit, like there are days that, like your brain can't do it. It just can't do it. And like, so I think I do empathize with like someone like a Mariah or even Justin Timberlake. Remember he lost his voice in between for a little bit too. Like it happens to artists, you know.
I'm
all the
not sure.
time.
I read a bit of the Britney Spears biography, and I'm not sure if I will listen to Justin Timberlake again.
So actually, talk
wait.
about that.
Whoa,
so I have
whoa,
not
whoa,
read
whoa.
anything.
Wow.
Yeah, that's we've
No,
done.
come on.
What's going on there? What's
A Britney biography? That's
No,
a
but-
no. That's a
no,
cray
no.
cray one.
that sounds a
Come
little
on.
feminist activity right now.
Did you read the whole book?
No, not yet.
Did you
But I
just-
read enough of it to
Are you
be traumatized.
paraphrasing?
Okay, yeah.
Did you read an
Yeah.
excerpt that was taken out of
I
context?
actually have the book. I accidentally bought 2 copies. I gave my friend Melissa Kwan a copy. So I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing, but like I got enough. I got in enough to see. I don't know. I think that she's always been villainized. She's easy to make fun of. She's easy to.
Do you watch her on Instagram right now?
I do think she has
You think
untreated.
that's a normal person?
I do think she has untreated mental illness, but I think
Of
a
course she
lot
does. That's
of
why
people,
her children were taken from her.
I think a lot of people who grew up with the lights all around them, the camera, the action, they don't end up very well as adults. And I'm not saying that that's always the outcome, but some of the things that she went through when she was dating Justin Timberlake, for me, I can understand why she would be traumatized or why that would cause a trigger.
Are you saying cost from him,
But she cheated on him.
or were they just too young? Like, so for instance, I remember
They
being
both
a,
were young.
I remember being in my
there's
teens
a reference.
in dating.
There's a reference about her getting pregnant while they were dating, and
Yes.
him telling her to get rid of the baby.
Well,
There
if
is.
they're both young, maybe it was the right thing for them.
I think it depends on where both their mindset was, and I think it's it.
for him.
Yeah,
But it also could have been their
It may
public-
have not been the right thing
But
for
it
her.
also-
the right thing for both.
And
but
I
then-
think that like women's health, women's rights, getting pregnant and having an abortion.
But don't forget, when you're at that level of stardom at an early age, you have a team of publicists around you controlling like your every move and how you're like getting together. So I'm not defending anyone in this. So I don't know this.
Well, we're not in it.
Yeah, we're not in it. So I'm not defending anything by any degree. But who knows? Maybe was he steered by his publicist? To
Whether
say
he
X
was or not,
Yeah.
as a female and understanding her position, and she was so young, that could really traumatize someone, and that could actually lead them to be triggered and be pushed in a scenario where maybe they did have background where they
But-
could have had personality disorder or mental illness, and now
Yeah,
you're
but
famous.
Yuri, hold on.
Said what he wanted to
I
say.
don't know how much of this book you've actually read, but her father did a lot of horrible things to her in terms of managing her career.
So the very beginning of the book talks about her family history, which is also very traumatizing. And to be honest, like I'll be honest with you,
she's in a bad mental state. 'cause
like
she was
when Baby
mistreated.
Hit Me One More Time came out and I was in high school, I was like, oh my God, what is this woman doing? What is this like over sexualized song? She's so desperate.
Yep.
I have to be very honest. I was never a Britney Spears fan. I was like, ugh, this is everything that I hate about pop. But as a woman, as a mother, as a soon-to-be 41-year-old physician,
You're that old.
Shh, it's a rumor.
when I started reading, and I was a quarter way into the book, and I started reading about what she went through to become famous and how the situation she was in and the stuff. And I'm like, okay, I see what she's going through now. I do think she has untreated mental illness. I don't know if it's personality disorder or if that, I'll leave that to him. But as a physician, I feel that I think she went through a lot. And I think Justin Timberlake went out being like famous and perfect and whatever. But I'm not sure if he's as unstained as he appears.
Yes,
And I think
skeletons
it's
in
easy.
the closet.
Me, myself, I went through things when I was in college, and I had a very, very popular boyfriend that all my friends liked, and he was very likable. And he was actually very abusive and not a very good person. And people didn't believe me when I said he was, because he was so likable for everybody else. That
He
it
looked
was
like an
hard
abuser to me.
for them to believe me
really?
when I said that he was actually a physically, verbally abusive person.
So it didn't pass muster with your sister. Your sister read right through it.
Oh, my parents did too.
Oh.
But I was like there living on my own, trying to do my own thing. And everybody loved him. Everybody thought he was amazing. Everybody thought he was athletic.
I think they just saw that he was handsome.
charismatic. But sometimes the most charismatic, likable individual can also be inflicting harm emotionally or physically on others that no one may ever see because they have antisocial traits and might just might be so good at it. So that's why I think the whole Britney Spears with Justin Timberlake triggers me because I just wonder if you might have some antisocial traits.
I don't know.
So Padam, from your professional psychiatrist now perspective, let's use a term that I cannot stand, but I bring it up every once in a while because
Cheetos.
it's utilized on a regular basis in
Cheetos,
business
sorry.
and everywhere. Let's unpack this.
Oh.
So from your
Let's
perspective,
peel back the onion
let's
layers.
let's dissect this
But they can't be raw.
from your perspective,
Kirti.
based on
Can't be wrong.
what
It's-
your lovely
This is
wife
just
has
us,
just
like,
mentioned.
we're this is a lot of inference. You know what I mean? Like we don't know all the real facts, right? So you haven't read the whole book.
I have not read
I'm just
book.
I'm putting a disclaimer.
I know where it is. It's
But
in
also,
her closet.
even
But I think
even if
it's
she did-
easy to hate women who are at the top of their game, who may be perfectionists, who make it look like it's easy. So it's like, why would you side with that person?
So, but
Most people want to side. Misery gives comfort. People like
But
to be
I will
friends
just
with
say,
people who they could relate
having
to.
having been a Britney Spears fan, because I actually like pop and rock and hip hop and I'm a lover of every genre of music.
I know Kirti, like her
actually-
favorite, like this is great for our audience. Her favorite music. If you have anything, please send recommendations for country. Kirti loves.
No, wait, that's the only one I don't like.
Loves country.
No.
Texas
country.
Hold'em. Texas Hold'em.
No
Bye,
country.
You just said you love every genre of music.
No.
Yeah, Kirti's all
Hold
like, I love country
that's
now that
Beyonce.
Beyonce has a country
Beyonce.
album.
Okay. I think I need to hear at least like 3 country songs before I can give it to Bay.
Whoa.
There's that song you and Dana sang.
Oh, The Climb from Miley Cyrus. But we like Miley Cyrus.
But Miley Cyrus was country
It's
then.
the
and now she's
Oh, my
Yep.
sorry.
But Miley
Gonna take
Cyrus is
another
like a pop.
mountain. And
Miley
gonna-
Cyrus is
Wait,
pop.
how's it go? Priyanka,
Yeah, Miley Cyrus
wait,
pop, dude.
Wait, what? Wait, who? Wait, what are you guys talking about?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Pooja, you gonna sing this with me? Ready?
I know
Gonna
that
take
song, but I
another
can sing Flowers with
mountain.
you.
Oh, that's a female song.
I can
buy myself flowers. Don't work back down on
You know, this past
hands.
Valentine's Day, I'm sorry to report that
I'm like a
I
ping
bought
pong.
myself
I'm like
flowers.
gonna watch this.
Yeah,
And
I can.
I can buy myself flowers. Write my name in the sand. Talk to myself for hours. Say things you don't understand.
Celine Dion. Stop saying
I
Miley
can
Cyrus.
Take myself dancing. I can hold my own hand. Yeah, I can love me better than you can.
Can love me better.
I can love me better, baby.
Can love me better. I can love me better, baby. Can love me better. I can love me better, baby. Can love me better. I can love me better. Woo! All right, rock and roll.
Okay, that just happened.
It always happens.
Coming to you from God Spice Radio.
God
We just had
Spice.
Dr. Pooja do her own rendition
Yes.
of Flowers by Miley
This
Cyrus.
is a PSA from
We're
Right
listening
next to her
to
husband.
GS Radio.
I love that song though.
GS Radio.
You can buy yourself flowers.
You know what's funny? Greg does not like that I like that song too.
What's that?
Because it's not about
It's not
a
about Greg
reflection of your relationship.
Or like the current relationship.
It's
It's like
awesome.
just an empowering song.
Yeah.
No, I get
I
that.
could buy myself
just-
flowers.
No, you did not like that I like that
It's
song.
empowering
Whenever
to
I
get
sing
rid
it
of
like
your current
karaoke, you're
partner.
like all sad
No,
about it.
let's rephrase that.
Like,
I didn't like.
We
it's
can
not-
buy ourselves flowers.
Yes.
We can hold hand. We
Which
can
I've
take
done.
ourselves dancing.
I've done.
No, that would make
You don't have to be hating your spouse or not have a spouse or significant
Just to
other.
feel empowered.
You
No,
could
no.
just be like,
I had no
bitch, we've
issue.
done really well and we can actually do this for ourselves and be
Let's-
good about it.
Let's
Yeah.
just
So
let's
then stop
correct the record
singing
here. I have
about it.
no issues with you liking that song.
Uh-huh.
It's just not my favorite song of hers.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it is.
No. You said
There's
this
an
song is
upstairs.
depressing.
It's sort of
That's
depressing.
your perspective.
Yeah,
on it.
I think it's
on my
well, she
perspective.
thinks
It's
liberating.
empowering.
It's or liberating.
It's an empowering song.
Liberating. Okay.
I think it.
It can be empowering.
Father of daughters. You should be supporting music like that.
Well, it doesn't have to be daughter.
Be
It doesn't have to
be a daughter dad.
It
But it's
doesn't
not,
have to.
it's
It's
not
not
putting
male or
down
female.
men.
It's
It's
not
just
putting
saying.
down
It's
men.
just saying
It's
that I don't need a woman, a man, they, them, whatever anybody
Whatever,
else.
a partner.
I don't need anyone to buy myself flowers, hold my own hand, dance. It means that like
You can love
when
Find
you
your- find your
decide
inner
that somebody's your
confidence.
partner,
Look,
they
Greg. Look.
choose
Okay.
you because they
I
have
want.
a
I want
choice.
everyone to look at Greg's face right now.
Doot, 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 doot.
That looks sad.
Greg is all depressed. Are you
Greg,
at the? Are you at the
can you
kitchen
buy
table?
yourself flowers?
I have to go to the kitchen table
Okay.
and I have to
He's going to the
discuss
So-
kitchen table, guys.
with the family.
Oh, is there food here?
Yes.
Oh man, look, it's like a stampede upstairs.
It's like a.
It's like.
It's a stampede.
So guys,
Wait, what? What are you? Wait, what's that? So back. So let's take this back. Hold on. So let's
music from the Lion
Why?
King.
So let's yes. So Padam, what are your thoughts on that Miley Cyrus track as a?
Okay, so I get it, females from your perspective. However, that song is only born because of her hatred for her ex.
Well, that's what we assume.
Right? No, it's
Okay.
not a song. Come
So let
on.
me just tell you something.
Okay.
Music is always written inspired
Yes,
by
trauma
an
is art.
experience or whatever.
So
good,
we have to
bad,
acknowledge the
whatever.
trauma, right? Don't we?
But still, she came out of it not saying like, I pump for you, I die for you. She could have done that. Instead, she came
Well,
out
no,
with
who's
this song
gonna-
called Flowers.
Who's gonna do that
the
for an
video
ex that
shows
they
her
like
chilling.
divorced?
Exercising, like
She's doing some amazing exercising, and she's all like,
Well, yeah. What is she gonna exactly? Like Greg was saying, what is she gonna do? Be like in the courtroom, like crying? Like I don't
exactly.
understand.
She's getting back in the game. She's like, all the people out there, I'm working out. I'm gonna find my new partner. Yes, you
basically,
think
that's
it's for
exactly what she just said.
myself,
Yeah.
But I'm setting it up for another.
I'm sorry, she's like incredibly ripped.
No, she's totally ripped.
she's a
Thing.
freaking
Go
amazing
Miley.
body.
Go Miley, because
She is
I
ripped.
want to look like.
I'm sorry, she's hot.
That's why I cover up with the sweater.
So
Oh,
even though we're like we're
like,
we're dissecting this song, we're like at least Kirti and I can't speak for the two of you, but we're big Miley Cyrus fans.
Oh,
You guys
yeah,
like
Miley's
Cyrus?
awesome.
Huge Miley Cyrus.
So,
We
Me and Miley.
love
so
her.
even though we're
First name
talking about
basis.
this and dissecting
I think
it,
she's
we're
super
Miley Cyrus
talented and
fans.
underrated.
Yes.
To be honest, like,
No, she's rated.
No.
Like exactly.
I have to be honest. I'm gonna probably piss off a lot of fans right now
Got
because
Spice fans or just fans? No.
Oh no, where are we going with this?
I'm not a Taylor Swift
Don't
fan.
say the end.
Ooh, that was just out of left field.
I appreciate her. I appreciate what she's doing, but like, really, for me, that like Taylor Swift has won more awards than Miley Cyrus. I think Miley Cyrus, for me,
I do
is
agree. I
more
think Miley
talented
needs to be
naturally.
noted. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay, literally, you can go on like Apple Music right now and type in Taylor Swift, and you will not be disappointed. Like every single song will be a 10.
Every song will be a 10.
That's a no
Wow.
for me.
I guess the husband is into Taylor Swift.
I don't know if I give every song
He's
a
a
10.
Swiftie.
Yeah,
I mean,
wouldn't
some of them
give-
might be
There are
nines, I
Taylor
don't
Swift songs I do really enjoy, but I wouldn't give every song a 10. Just like Miley Cyrus, I wouldn't give every song a 10.
Actually,
You know?
I would say 90% of Miley Cyrus's album, I actually love listening to every track.
Yeah,
Oh.
so good. She's actually talented.
And you do too,
She is very
actually,
talented.
without knowing it.
Well, no, the thing is, because I think, well, with her,
Yeah, but 90% of her songs are written by Taylor Swift. So, but just
No,
look it up.
they're
Just look it
not.
up on the phone while I
But,
sneak
like,
out.
My boyfriend left me because I was an asshole, and I have borderline personality.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
stigmatizing. That's
Oh.
stigmatizing. Wow, you stigmatize her.
stigmatizing
Wow.
from the professional.
We don't treat you like that at Elevate Psychiatry. 305-908-1115.
I'll just know. Taylor, we know you're borderline and you're mediocre, but people love you.
Okay,
Nothing
so
wrong with
so
borderline personalities or
so
that is terrible.
just shifting gears
What
for
about Beyonce? Because she's up there too. Because she had like the second, like she was up there with the big tours of the year, Taylor Swift. So, what are your thoughts on Beyonce then?
Okay, so I think Beyonce is interesting because of her many revelations, like identity-wise. Like there's been the Destiny's Child, Beyonce. And then
it's
she
going
went to
solo.
the solo Beyonce, who was like, "Hey, I'm out for pop." Like, her and Jay-Z the first time. Oh, great! This is like, like freaking Pinocchio here. It's like basic, right? And then all of a sudden she gets like angrier. And then as soon as Jay-Z cheats on her in public with like elevator whatever footage, boom, like everything goes off. Like she's like
Wait, there was
Black
elevator footage?
Panthering
Yes,
in the
you
Super
don't know that?
Bowl, like,
beating up Jay-Z.
yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
Solange
Fiancé.
beating up, trying to beat up
Solange.
Jay-Z, but we all know he's a pimp, technically, right? Back in the day.
Listen, he's
So-
a street thug.
I
wait,
heard
what was
that he
the-
was big pimp.
But
Big-
but I'm sorry, like
But wait,
what
what
I
happened
heard.
in an elevator?
when
Was there
that
activity in an
happened,
elevator?
when that happened, and she, I don't know, finally got the memo. Let's just be real. I was not shocked because you should know who you are with. He's a street thug who has become an amazing music producer
I agree
and
with you,
businessman.
but I also
no,
feel
but my
like.
thing is, there's an innate character. You can't change
But you know what?
people's character.
Beyonce was a super hard worker, incredibly beautiful, incredibly talented.
Of course.
Like, honestly, she was like one of my idols. I think she is absolutely amazing.
I just
and
wish
so,
she
like,
didn't get plastic done because she was still my idol until the plastic.
Agreed, 100%.
Stop doing the plastic, guys.
Beyonce,
There's no
you
coming
don't
back
need
from
that.
plastic.
No skin bleaching, no fake shit. You are so
Did
gorgeous.
she get
and beautiful.
skin
Are
bleaching?
you actually sending a message
Really?
to Beyonce?
Did she get parts of her body augmented too?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got
She
a
did?
BBL. She got the
Did she?
boobs
She is
done.
actually an android, yes. Yes. She has
But,
Because
uh,
she didn't
growing
have
up
she didn't
in
have
the
the traditional
2000s.
caboose here.
Growing up in the
She had that
2000s,
Really?
she was one of the most beautiful, one of the most talented. Like, she was just like,
And
idol.
really just unique.
And
Like,
she
truly
still
unique.
is.
No,
But
no, I have qualms with that. I don't know. I think in her first album, after Destiny's Child, Destiny's Child set a standard for pop, and then she just extended that in her first album. Like I said, I don't think until she realized trauma, Jay-Z, Elevator, Solange, etc., that she really took off.
She like
Then she
well,
channeled
you
that
could tell she started to
anger.
write different music.
Yes, exactly. And it was good.
Yes.
It was like, all right, F everybody, this is who I
so
really
we
am.
all need to
Yep.
be traumatized to write good music.
Trauma's art.
Well, if you think
the
about
But,
a lot of
you know,
music is written off of heartbreak.
the end thing is, you cannot, in my opinion, compare Taylor Swift to Beyonce. I think Beyonce is super, super, super talented from the ground up. I think she can dance.
No,
I
maybe
think
from,
she's
like, the third
beautiful.
floor.
I think she can sing.
Yep.
Taylor Swift, I'm not sure. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not
I'm
convinced.
pretty sure. You just don't want to say it. Tay-Tay is
I'm not
awesome.
convinced. I'm not convinced.
Maybe she's
I'm-
just a marketer.
I'm traumatized.
Maybe she's just a
at the-
great marketer.
Wait, you're not going to go on the Swiftie cruise?
Oh, there's a Swiftie cruise?
I would never spend this much money on this
She's gonna
woman.
have a
I don't think
special
she's very.
cruise.
Is she going to be on it?
I don't know.
Is it Disney? Is it like a Disney cruise?
hope so.
I mean, you guys are
Disney
Disney
knows better.
enthusiasts.
Disney knows better. They
Yes.
wouldn't. They would not invest in that.
She's so wholesome.
No.
Wholesome?
Yeah, isn't she
Yeah,
a wholesome
she's
girl?
Wholesome.
She doesn't even cuss in her songs.
Yeah.
She's not wholesome.
Perfect Disney marriage.
She basically has sex with everyone she knows, and then she doesn't actually land a relationship, and then she writes a song about
Can we
every
go
guy
over-
who never
you
wanted to
s-
commit to
Hold on,
her.
hold on.
Are
Can
you
we go
saying
over
that she's
former
promiscuous?
Disney personalities that have made it big. Miley Cyrus, Justin Timberlake,
Promiscuous
Britney Spears,
girl,
like,
wherever
every-
you
Bring
are.
me back some Nelly Furtado, because
Olivia
I'd listen to
Rodrigo,
that.
whatever. Like what?
I'm
They've
all
done worse?
alone, and it's you that I want.
Promiscuous boy, you already know I am yours. I don't know the rest of the words.
Promiscuous girl, you're pleasing me. You got what you want, and I got what you need.
Promiscuous boy.
Let's get to the point, lady.
Okay, I will bring us into our next segment. We'll go into how do you actually launch a successful like work-life balance structure.
You don't answer.
Yes. You both are technically entrepreneurs.
Both of you are
You
entrepreneurs.
both are entrepreneurs. You have a young daughter. You moved to Miami.
How do you make it work?
Did you?
No, never. Wow, you're an
We-
entrepreneur according to these two people.
You
Well,
guys
how
have
do
the
you
Bieber,
make it work? How do you
mansion.
make it work? It's
So
not
I
easy.
feel like when we moved down
lot of
here,
effort on my
my husband
You
was
gotta talk in the mic when you
okay.
talk. Yeah,
So
we can't hear you.
when we moved down here, my husband was an employee of a hospital system, and I actually was a partner, and I owned my own business. And then I got pregnant. I had my
Bulletproof.
daughter. I had a C-section. It was very difficult, and I think that we should bring this up because I think that we give very little. We give very little attention to the fact that pregnancy
I can
birth.
add some color to this
Yes.
too.
is like, oh, you got to do that, and you could just come back to work, or it's going to be easy, but it's not.
Pooch, just watch that.
Yeah, but it's not, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It drains you physically and mentally, and so I thought I would just be like, okay, I'm just
bounce
gonna have
right
a
into
baby.
it.
I'm gonna bounce right into it. I'm gonna come back, and then I had Opaline, my daughter, who is the gem of my heart, and I was like, it's because she's more me than him, and
Well, we'll change it.
So.
We're changing that day
So
by
I think
day.
when you get into that position where you're vulnerable and you have to choose, and I was like, I wouldn't. I'd rather downgrade my house, downgrade things that I have, and I would rather just take care of her because it's hard. And I think it's something unfortunate in the U.S. that mothers have to face, where they're not given the ability to actually heal and bond with their child. They have to go straight back to work and just be a workhorse. And I don't think it's natural or healthy because women need the time to actually heal and bond with their kids.
To physically heal.
And it's sad that it was a
By
blessing.
the way, forget about mentally. Like that's not even given.
That's not even
anything.
given thing.
But I mean, like physically, let me heal.
yeah.
Physically, mentally, it should not be a privilege for women to actually take care of their kids. It's like, wow, my husband has this job and it supports us, so I'm able to take care of my kid. And I think that that's a fail in 2024 in society, especially in the United States of America, because we have the least support for women's pregnancy, postpartum, and coming back to work.
Yeah, it's not like
Oh well,
Europe or
apparently we're
Canada.
also going to be losing women's rights.
Apparently, you can't do IVF. You can't
Get an abortion.
get an abortion, which most women, I will tell you as a physician, most women do not get an abortion because they're just having sex and they're being reckless. It's because maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they're going to actually get sick or die from it. Maybe the baby's born with something that's going to be sick. But it's going to sick. Maybe their spouse is abusive, so they're afraid that they're going to get abused and their child's going to get abused. Or maybe they were raped, or maybe they were pawned off. So I think this is a very important topic because women's rights should not be something that's in politics. Men in the office should not be deciding what women's bodies do.
I 100%
Yeah,
agree
I
with
agree with
you. 100%. And like it actually, it's a thing that's actually scaring me for our daughters.
Yes.
Like, why? I mean, the rights and freedoms and privileges that we grew up with, and now our kids are growing up
No,
into
dude,
It's
it's
like
crazy.
being taken away.
It
They're having less rights than we have.
Yes.
I as a scientist, let's say, would unequivocally say I am pro-life, right? So that was the position I took for so long. I was like, yes, of course, you make a
Little thing.
you know, something with
As a doctor,
enough
your
DNA,
goal is to preserve
this
life
equals
and
life,
save
and that's it.
life.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's done. It's so easy, like in my mind. And then I was introduced to the real world, right, where people have allegedly free will, right? Say that. And she was the one who made me change my mind about all this because I was like, but how can you argue this scientific fact? And it's not about a scientific fact. It's about rights as a human. And that, I think, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the science says. It doesn't matter whether this is a human or not or whatever. At some
Oh
point,
yeah, like
and
if
we do
it's
this all
if
the
it's
time.
sentient or an unsentient
Exactly.
being,
Yeah.
and these arguments that this cell is actually alive. It's actually like. I
Yeah, it is.
remember.
It
You
is
know what's
alive.
interesting
It's
about
fine.
what you're saying? I was a sophomore in college, and I'm a philosophy minor too. So I took a lot of philosophy classes as a result. And one of our course loads actually focused on the sentient being.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
And it's like really, and that's why I was saying to you, remember like a couple weeks ago, I was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe we're arguing about things that I debated and wrote papers about theoretically, but we're arguing about it practically
Yep.
into modern day society, which is just disgusting to me.
Well,
Yeah.
what's interesting about sentient beings is that we've had this conversation, and even this is several years ago we were talking about this, because Kirti and I, just from our history and what we've done in marketing, have always used artificial intelligence, neuroscience, and biometrics, and everything.
Skynet, yeah.
And so there's been discussions, like say in the next 10 to 30, 50 years, we'll just say, that when people start dating like animatronic robots, kind of like the movie Megan we just saw, that's so life-like being that can somewhat become semi-sentient, will it be considered murder if someone
Yes,
kills
I've seen that
a
argument, yeah.
robot, right? What is then what is the definition of murder, and does that constitute murder, which is really sort of an interesting topic.
But
and
I think
conversation
you're
in itself.
also raising something so important, which is us making decisions in society based on philosophical, religious, theoretical, or practical
Yes,
perspective.
Where's
exactly.
the church?
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
the church and state separation?
Well, so that's actually
And
the
I'm
point,
sorry,
right?
I'm going to lean to practical.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a discussion of science versus religion versus practical. Scientifically, yes, you have created something that can replicate. By definition in science, that is life. But are you going, now you get into the realm of, because it is someone who is carrying another life form, which one is more important, right? And that's not necessarily science, that's more in the religion, but kind of science, right, kind of thing. So you have all these layers, and at some point you have to sacrifice one value set to appease another. You just have to. So, in my case, right, yes, it is obvious to me that an embryo is living. Doesn't matter where it is, in your uterus, in your whatever. It's living, and don't kill it. But where are you going to store it, right? We talked about this in terms of, can I say IVF? Yep. So we've tried, right, to have a second child. We've thought about what IVF would look like, and in terms of the Alabama case, right, an embryo would be saved, and that would be illegal, right? That could be considered sentient, but how much sacrifice does it do in the other way, right? So for you, right, let's say you had a sentient being and we said that was life and your life was on the line. What do we do, right? And isn't that more of an ethical thing, right? So now we've gotten beyond science, we've gotten beyond religion. Religion informs ethics. There's all this crap going on, right? What does religion say? Everything is living, right? If we're going to take a Catholic view. I'm not well informed,
technically,
right?
one could say, like, look at a Higgs boson, right? Higgs boson, which was that organism that no one could ever technically see until, I guess, in the last 10 years, when you have a microscope that can finally see it, was known to be in existence even though it was unseen, which is technically a living being, or an amoeba, right? So,
amoebas.
So, in theory, and someone could say anything's particularly living, but then where does the conversation,
Where do we
as
draw
you
the
said,
line?
where do we draw the line? But also, as you said, there's been situations where people are leaving their states, and not to get political, but people are leaving their states because their own life is at stake, and they're not allowed to have an abortion to save their own life because they're worried about the baby, even though the baby may die at the same time that the person dies, which does not make sense.
I think this is, as a physician, this is a very important topic because I don't think this is about whether you're red or blue or Republican or independent or Democrat. The fact of the matter is that science should not be a part of politics because I don't think anyone has a right to decide what's women's rights versus men's rights versus what. No.
Well, no. I think what Pooja's saying,
You can't regulate it. You
She's saying a
can't.
man shouldn't be deciding.
A man
for
should
a
not
woman.
be deciding
So
what
I
is
disagree.
women's rights or men's rights.
It's not about that. I disagree. I think that we need to have the appropriate council, that sounds weird, an oligarchy, to decide what rights are for everyone.
So this is the problem. So the reason that I'm cutting you off right now is because majority of our laws have always been passed by white men in Congress, And so it doesn't matter if you're white, black. I think what's really important about this is that I don't think that body rights, whether it's woman or man or they or them, should be conducted by Congress because science is very new, all science, and everything we're learning is new every day. So why does Congress have the right to make a decision on man, woman, they, them?
Can I ask you,
Or
who would
anything
you believe
else.
then? Whose opinion would be the expert?
But
in this situation?
They should create a new body of physicians that encompass
Oligarchy, yes.
women, men, they, them, whatever that needs to be incorporated to make it very representative of the whole community. And the people who actually learn science and know science should make the decisions, not because somebody named Caitlin Britt or the frick her name is in Alabama can cry.
I'm
in a
talking to
Tylenol
you from the kitchen table.
and decide
I'm
that
so
they decide to cry tonight because they're rich and they're married to a
I'm so
football
rich.
player.
My
No.
my refrigerator is at least $10,000, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
No.
I'm
I think
trying
it's
to
25,000. It's the newest version
I'm
of
trying
Sub-Zero.
I'm trying to communicate with the everyday middle American
Life is
person
not a
that
drama
doesn't
club.
Understand.
It isn't. It isn't.
So after like everything that we're talking about, right? We were talking about music, relationships, about how to treat people from a therapeutic perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about reading brain scans, EEGs, but as I look
And
at chemistry,
and then we were also talking about female rights.
female rights, yes,
Those are
100%
important, yes.
female rights. But let's talk
Those are
about
important,
chemistry.
Yes.
I want to bring this conversation now to pure chemistry because we have doctors here. So
We know a lot about
let's talk about
chemistry.
chemistry. The chemistry of individuals, partners, which equates to a period of meeting, a romantic period, which then becomes an intimate period, which then becomes a relationship long term.
Yeah.
In Miami, what is it like to have a romantic partner, and what do you guys do for date night in Miami in like a hot city where you can go dancing
you
one
guys,
night?
that is a great question.
Yeah, and you guys can go to like have great food because I know you guys like love to go to Disney, and Disney has like their food festival. We just went to the Sobe festival together, and so like, and I know you guys love like food events.
Well,
and,
but like more than
and your sisters also.
Wait,
we have to
hold
call this
on.
out.
More than like where they
Hashtag
go.
chef free.
I think what I want to know is how you make time with busy schedules
Oh.
to still be together.
Yeah.
And have
So,
that intimacy.
simple
What type
answer,
of
we
food?
don't.
Like, how do you guys choose? Like, if you want like a romantic, so Padam, if you're like, I want it suave and Rico, like I'm like that. Miami
How do you
man.
romance Pooja? Let me just
Where
get a
do
quick
you?
cut to the chase.
Where are you taking your lovely lady on a date that evening when you want to go home and have a Miami suave evening?
Oh, is this like actually how do I romance my husband? Because I'm pretty sure it's just me romancing him.
So
Oh, wait, not the other way around?
Oh.
Whoa, let's hear about this. Let's
I
take
can buy
this to
myself
another.
flowers.
so I have a very good.
Write my name in the sand.
Sand.
Talk to myself for hours.
Say things you don't understand.
Boy, but I love my man.
I can take myself something.
Dancing.
Oh, dancing.
I can hold my own hand.
I can
love me better than
you can.
Love me better. I can love me better, baby. Can love me. Okay, Padam, you have to
I
answer it.
can
I
love
try to
me
give you a
better,
little buffer here.
So okay, so
Wait, no, I
so
said
not to
answer.
give
We're
no,
romancing
I'm
you.
gonna take it away. So
Whoa.
Whoa.
so it's not
You
to give
might
him a
get
bad
an
rap.
ECT. Is she getting an ECT tonight for that? Yes.
So it's not to give him a bad rap. So when we actually moved here and decided what we were going to do and decide how we're going to participate in the family, I could have also been like, okay, I'm going to just expand my business, become a CEO. Like it was very easy for a person in epilepsy to actually create a business down here because they didn't have enough. But I also hold being a mother a priority. And so I was like, do I want a nanny to raise my child? The answer is no. Does it mean that I care about whether somebody else does that? No, that everybody else should have like a potion, a mix, a formula that works for them. But for me, I really, really appreciated my mom being in my life when I was younger. And I was like, I want to give that touch. And so like, I don't think it's an opportunity for two people who are very strong-headed and very capable of being leaders and open businesses to do that, because what ends up happening is somebody ends up being unhappy because there's got to be somebody who holds somebody else at some point. You have to take turns.
A yin and a yang, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed. And so for me, it's like, it wasn't so hard for me to be like, I rather just nurture the family and our relationships while he produces his business. And I think that that's been pivotal probably for your business. And that's okay with me, because for me, I've always chosen family over career, and that's okay. And that was my choice.
Well, to each his own. Essentially, what you're saying is there's no wrong or right way to do it. Like, so for instance, I grew up with an at-home mom. I loved having my mother at home. And,
Same.
And unfortunately, my mother died when I was 29 years of age, and she fell ill when I was 15. So for me,
I thought you were going to act like she passed when you were 15. Like you were a grown man.
well, you're still, I would consider 29.
The way you positioned that was like you needed the baba.
My mother fell ill when I was 15.
Okay, so that's what you have to explain.
And then there was a period between when I was 15 and like if we're going to go deep into it, like, so for instance, when I was still
So
living
you were
at
very
home,
young when she fell ill.
I was very young when she fell ill. If we're to talk about something like, so my mother, we got to the point where we used to take my mother to the hospital so often that we stopped calling an ambulance in the middle of the night. The doctors told us exactly how to manage the situation. When she gets up in the middle of the evening, like my mother has fainted on me as I'm holding her. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, you were basically Kieran's age, dealing with that.
Yes, and then so the doctors told us, okay, so check her sugar, give her orange juice, and get her to the hospital, because that would be faster than actually waiting for for the ambulance to come. And because it would happen on like a decently regular basis, they told us that that's the best route to take. And then my mother passed away when I was 29. So I guess I'm older, but still, like, I still feel that that's young
Super
for
young.
a mom.
Super young.
To like, especially someone who's pivotal in your life.
I think dealing with the death at any age is
Dealing with death
traumatizing.
is horrible.
But also being
but
a teenager
but I
and dealing
also-
with it in your young adult
Okay,
years.
but I also want to just point out,
like
the
we
age
still have our
differences
parents
matter.
alive, and we're
No,
40
I know,
and 45.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm
not
not
that
being, I'm not being compassionate or empathetic. You're also the youngest of 3 kids.
No,
You
I
have a
am.
sister who's 13 years older than you.
True.
So just context is important too.
Oh yeah, but I'm not talking about. I'm not.
And I'm not sure how this is related to what we were just talking about. So
No, we were
Definitely
talking
related.
about having an at-home mom. So we were
Oh.
talking about the pure fact about growing up with someone as an at-home mom, and I was saying that it doesn't. Every which way that someone grows up, there's no wrong or right, whether you have a working mother or an at-home mother. But your sister was sharing an experience about her mom being home with her, and then she's home with her
She
daughter,
wants
and
to
that's
be
important.
accessible to
So I
her
was
daughter,
relating that
yeah.
to my life, and where I understand that by having an at-home mom, but then
Yeah.
also talking about how I lost my mother at an early age, and she fell ill when I was quite young, and talking about how that kind of
It
that whole
impacted you.
experience, how it
Yeah.
actually affects you as an individual. That's
Yeah.
where I was going with that.
And I think
Okay.
that's really important
no,
because
that helps me understand. I did not know where you were going. I thought we were going into a Greg vacuum.
no, I think
So
that's
I
really
needed to make
important.
sure.
I hate Greg Vacuum. So.
I mean, those rabbit holes, they go
No,
deep
I
and
actually
windy,
appreciate
and I
that,
was
and
just, like,
thank you
trying to
for
figure
sharing
out.
that. And I think it's really important because I think that growing up, I didn't really appreciate or respect my mom as much as I should have, because I was just like, oh, she's at home, she's cooking, cleaning, that's not important. Like the person who works and makes money
The job
is.
that never ends.
And I would say the meanest and the most abhorrent things to her. And she knows till this day that I really, really apologize about that, because I think we have a very, very close relationship now. And I think I'm actually making up for lost time and lost respect for what should I've been doing since I was a child. But actually becoming a mom, irrespective of like working 99-hour shifts and working very hard, but just going through a C-section, being a mom, I was like, oh shit, we don't have a manual for this. This is really hard. This isn't easy. And
Even just being a parent.
as a
there's no
physician,
manual.
like, oh, there's a textbook, there's this, there's that. This is how you pass the test. This is how you impress this is how you do that. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I was pretty shitty to my mom,
Oh,
who did a lot for me.
you know what? Kids are
So
kids
I
are
think
hard.
like I come from a little
but
bit more
kids
of a,
are always hard on their mom.
I think I
It
come from
doesn't-
a
it's
little bit
not
more
good.
of a sensitive perspective
Honestly,
because I don't think she'll ever realize how much she did for me and how much I didn't understand until I actually started being a mom myself and was in vulnerable situations.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, I'm here right now in Staten Island to support her.
I always think about
because-
that, even
I'm
with our
glad you
kids.
fessed up. You've been a bad daughter.
Yeah, but I think about that with our kids, like
Been
the way
very
like our kids. I think it's funny. Like we'll get into, like our kids will rebuttal all the time, or they'll say things that are mean and things. And I always think in my
Spicy.
head, and
tears?
yes, spicy. But I always think about like when I think about our kids and the way they like our kids, yes, love us, but
The
they
way
say
they
things
treat
that are
us?
mean, the way they treat us. I always think in my head, okay, chill out, calm down. If they decide to have kids, which is up to them, if they decide to have kids, they will finally understand what we're going through right now. Like you never understand. My
it's
my
the
family
best
always
teacher.
said,
Experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
And honestly, as a physician,
Understand
my
what we're
family.
going through.
no, but
because
as a physician
it's
that's been a
traumatic and
patient,
they need to experience trauma on a very visceral level. They should be sad.
but even as a physician who's been a patient between my medical conditions, I feel like it's made me more humble and understanding. And I think it makes you step out of your comfort zone because it's easy to be like, tell a patient, like, here's a script, do this, go there, do that. Or
Is it? Is it?
hopefully insurance will cover it.
Yeah?
But I've
That's how
been through a
you-
lot of
you do
medical
medicine?
conditions
That's cool, man.
personally. And when I go through it, and I'm like, I have the utmost of background. I have the knowledge. I have probably the monitoring. I have everything that I have
you
to
don't
do.
have the monitoring.
And then
We
it's
don't have the
still
finance for that. Sorry.
difficult to pursue things that should be accessible and normal to people who are living in the United States of America. And that's what makes, I think, me more humble and understanding and compassionate, because it's not easy for patients
You're more
at
humble.
all.
Life isn't easy.
No, life is
It's
really
hard.
hard.
So Pooja, back to what you were just saying now.
Wow.
Yep. So Pooja, back to what you were just saying. We were just talking
about
about
Trump
kids, and I remember my mother always telling me, like, so for instance, like back even when I was younger, like, so I entered the music industry at age 19. And so I was going to Electric Lady Studios, and that's kind of young, going from Connecticut into the city, and I wouldn't be getting back home till literally like 4 or 5 in the morning. Not because we're partying, because I'm actually at the studio working on sessions. But she would never go to sleep until her kids were back home. And so meanwhile, I was young, so she wasn't going to sleep, and she wouldn't fall asleep until like 5 or 6 a.m. because of when I was getting home. And I said, Mom, I'm at the studio. I'm like, I'm at my job working. She's like, you will never understand it until you have your own children.
Yep. That's why Karen's not allowed in the dark, and she hates me for it.
That's because she's scared of Skinamarink.
No, and then she wanted to
is
go
all
buy
the dark.
chocolates in the dark the other day, and I'm like,
We had a
No.
family banter about this.
No.
So she wanted. So talking about kids have a double standard. They want to be adults when they want to be adults, but then they want to be children when they want to be children. So, like, for instance, a child will be like, "What? I want to go visit my friend in Canada, in Canada, in Vancouver, across like the states. I can go there by myself." And then it's like, "Mommy, why can't you come pick me up 10 blocks away? I'm scared."
Well, so, see, you hit upon a good thing because
Right?
children are fickle. So we have to be consistent.
So I totally understand the difficulty of being a parent and doing everything. Like, I went to school, pregnant, had a baby, worked, did all that stuff. But you guys are not getting away with ending this episode with us without telling me, how do you both end up going out or finding time to have couple time? Like, what's your strategy around that? Because I think a lot of our
Really good
listeners would like
Just get a
benefit from
nanny.
that.
We want the
Hey.
man. The
So I
Manhattan
would
vibe,
say that
the Miami vibe.
I would say like in the relationship, I'm kind of the planner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always like, let's plan.
Plan E.
So I would say I would plan vacations. I would plan dates. I'd plan most things. I think that there's something that I don't agree with like women are like, oh, I need to be surprised. I need them to do this for me.
F that. No,
I'm
we don't
kind of
need
like,
to.
no, I don't need anyone to do this for me. I will take myself on a vacation. I will plan my own days.
myself
I will buy myself
I'm not-
flowers. Yeah.
I will do that.
Take yourself
thing.
Like, I think it's sexist to think that like somebody has to do something. I do think that both sides need to participate and they need to make it happen. I don't think that it should be man versus woman, but I'll be like, listen, there's this like food festival or there's this special event or there's this movie.
Yeah.
And so like,
Cool plan, bro.
and so like, so then like basically, I think that I have.
Taking me out. I love you.
This is his flirtatious like
This is
technique.
them flirting everyone.
This is
and this is
we are
Pooja
seeing
about to kill him.
We are seeing the mating ritual taking place in real time from Miami doctors.
No, there's no mating ritual here. So I'm saying that like I am not the type of person waiting for someone to wine and dine me. I'll just be like, this restaurant's good. This venue is good. This is good. And then we'll be like, when is a nanny available?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say something I observed about you both, and it's something that we've noticed from afar, is that you know how to take advantage of when you have your nanny already. Like, I love the idea that you guys go
But
on
we could
these
do
day
that in
brunches.
Miami because there's so many daytime activities. So
but
for
also,
example,
like, I like that you guys go out for brunches and then you extend that into a couple
Yeah.
hours, and it's not
I'm
like
personally
spending
like
extra money on
I'm
a
a
nanny to
9
stay in
p.m.
it.
go to bed person. I am not a like stay awake forever. I don't need to be like out all night. And I think Miami is so good for that because everything can start from 9 and end at like 9 a.m. the next day.
So that is a great tip for a lot of folks out there. Take advantage of the hours you have with your nanny. Use the daytime to spend it with your like significant other. And there's so much more that we could probably like totally vacuum out.
I was
my
going to say there's
sister
so
and
many different
brother-in-law.
topics. So you guys have to come
This is
back
only
on the
first
show
episode.
again. This is only like
First of many.
the first of many because there's so
guys,
many
I'm okay.
different
I don't wanna
topics.
come back.
We have not even gotten into like literally like the Miami food scene, like the pure fact
traveling
that you
that you
guys go to
guys do.
Disney like 30 times a year.
3 times.
30 times. It's okay. It's the same thing.
It's
you can
okay.
announce it.
It's okay.
It's okay. And
Just
but,
own it.
But you guys just own it. And you guys go there for the quality, the food, the white glove service, and I know it's awesome. And to be quite frank, Disney's awesome. So I think it's
Well,
there's
thank
no
you for
better
coming
reason.
on the
Yeah, do
show.
it together.
We
Yes,
will.
we would
We'll
love
do
to
it
do it
together.
Love to
That's
do
the
it
next
together.
thing we do together.
Yeah,
Part two.
absolutely.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks for joining
you guys.
us.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
Just
having
wanna-
us.
Love you guys.
Thank you to Pooja and Padam. And Padam, what's the name of your firm again?
Elevate Psychiatry 305-908-1115 105908-1115.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Amazing. And that's
A wrap.
a wrap.